Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel, the Director of Football Challenge combined with a journeyman save. And today, in part 14, we're back one game earlier than planned as we face Cowdenbeath away from home, a side on the rise, and bottom side Stranraer at home, a team that have given us a few headaches this season. We're still in second, it is a very close title race and there is a lot of action to come in this one. So if you're looking forward to it, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We've got daily content from 2 long-term stories, a new live stream series that has just started. But of course, firstly, before we get into any of that, we've got to talk about the headline news. We had a job interview. Now, we didn't get offered a job, we didn't get the opportunity to go for any others, but we did have an interview, which is progress. And we still haven't completed that B licence, so I'd imagine that will help once it happens. But we had a job interview at Clyde, a club that we mentioned in the last episode, that we might be playing in the playoffs, and we were almost in charge of them. In the end, they went for Douglas Samuel from the Lowlands Leagues, which asks a few questions in itself, but he's got the same reputation and more badges, so I guess that's why. We could have been managing David Goodwillie. Of course, we've had a go with Clyde on the channel before, but not in the head coach, so it would have been an interesting one. The reason that I went for the job, though, I was sort of in and ahhing at first, but then I saw who the media favourite was at first, and that man was our assistant manager, Mark Miller. And I looked at him and I went, you might have a bigger reputation, you might have an A licence, but you're my number 2, and I'm not losing out on a job to you. He's been a player at East Stirling, he's just retired, he's never managed, he's never had a non-playing role job before this one. I was not losing the opportunity to him. Thankfully we didn't, we did get an interview, and of course it means we keep our assistant manager as well, so there's a benefit to that. But progress nonetheless, things starting to look a bit better for us. None of the jobs available at the moment we've been able to get any success with. I did apply for Morton, no interview there, and we've had a couple of non-league ones that have turned us down. But once that B licence comes in, I think we'll be in good shape. The other thing that can give us a very quick lift is if we get a promotion. We are 1 point off Albion Rovers, and I'm actually quite annoyed given where we were. Because before the 29th game, we were top of the league. Albion Rovers had been falling away, but then we drew 0-0 at home to Stirling Albion, a side that always gives us trouble, and Albion battered Brechin City. So you might think the fact that we're still up there says we've been in great form. We haven't really, to be brutally honest. If we have a look at the schedule, we are unbeaten for a few now, but a lot of draws in there. So of the last 5 games off camera, we've won 2 and we've drawn the other 3. So certainly not spectacular form, which shows you that Albion Rovers are starting to falter as well, which is a positive for us. So since the last episode, we won 3-1 away at Annan Athletic. It was Dingwall's first goal for the club, as well as Critchley and Rose getting 1 apiece. A 1-1 draw in the title challenge against Albion Rovers. Declan Byrne and James Rose scoring 1 each. I guess that's fitting after this season. 2 frustrating 0-0s at home to Stenhousemuir and Stirling Albion, and they were sandwiched with an emphatic 4-3 win at Edinburgh City. We nearly threw it away. We were 4-1 up. We managed to somehow give away 2 goals and have a grandstand finish. But a James Rose hat-trick and a Mark Malley goal, enough to wrap up the 3 points. And ironically, after recent episodes, it's our home form that's now the problem. But let's go and have a look at that Albion Rovers form, because it's not much better. They've been struggling a little bit. So in February, they just had a blip. They didn't win for 4 games. They lost 2 of them, including 1 very heavily. We held them as well. But they did beat Brechin City, and they look to be back in form now. So I'm a little bit worried that we won't be able to see them off. They have got the better side. They've been loaning players from the old firm clubs. Declan Byrne looks unstoppable up top. But we'll wait and see. We're still in the race, and that's all we can ask for. But we've also got some transfer news. Now, I didn't know you could sign players outside the traditional January transfer window in Scotland. But as it happens, if we go to the rules, which Pat Nevin obviously knew better than I, wouldn't be the first time he's been the hero here. Pat Nevin noticed that there was a loan window throughout February. And right at the end of that, he's managed to buy us in a player. Now, because in January we couldn't get others in because the domestic loan window had shut. But he seems to have found someone outside in England, which I'd never heard of, to be honest, so I'm pretty pleased he's found them. And that man is Luke Knock. He's coming from Rochdale for a very nominal loan fee, and he's pretty good. 3-star ability, 18-year-old right midfielder. He's got 5-star potential. He's pretty good in the middle if we need him, but of course we've got no right winger, so he's staying out there. And he's had 3 solid games so far, just finding his match fitness. But what a good signing. What a surprise. It was pleasant, and it certainly helped us out with the balance of the team. It means we can keep the central midfielders working hard. We can keep Thomas Collins as a backup option up front off the bench, and Ryan Cinnamon can be a fullback again. So Luke Knock is a good signing, and he's going to feature today. Let's get into our first game against Cowdenbeath. We've been recommended to make a few changes. I've bought Daniel Church back in at left back recently. He's done very well, so I'm going to keep him there. Luke Knock in on the right. Wardrope in central midfield. He's just struggling physically still, but Matt McCormick's back from his broken leg now. He's just getting some fitness in the reserves. I'm going to give him 3 or 4 games there, and then we'll gradually bed him back into the first team. Despite Dingwall being a good signing, we're keeping Malley and Rose up front for now because they've both been doing really well. Malley's had good games, scored in that game against Edinburgh City, of course, and we've got a brilliant striker off the bench if we need it. So our 11 for today as a result is Mackenzie in goal, MacArthur ever improving at right back. Since coming into the team in January, it's like Berry's never been away. Daniel Church on the left, Sturrock and Banner in the middle, Knock and Makita the wingers. Makita hitting a tough spell of form. He did struggle to get back to fitness after injury, and he's just made it now. So his last 2 performances have been slightly better. I'm hoping the same will happen today. If not, Thomas Collins or Inglis might be back in. We've got Critchley and Wardrope in the middle. Of course, Critchley playing rather well at the moment. And Mark Malley alongside James Rose up front. The goal scoring machine, 28 in the league. Remarkably not in the top 2 scorers despite that. But let's get into the first game of the day and see if we can beat high-flying Cowdenbeath. They've recovered remarkably in recent weeks, and we're going to have to be at our best to stop them. So the benefit of no changes from the last match is that I'm trying to keep that sort of familiar same team mentality in. It's something that's happened in our best runs of forms here at Brechin, and I'm looking to continue it today. The lads aren't really reacting to our team talks recently, which is a worry. The dynamics are still okay, we're doing quite well, but into the first half, let's see how we get on. This is the first episode, incidentally, that I'm recording after the full game has been released, so you might notice some slight differences, let me know if you do. But in the first 10 minutes, no highlights, though Cowdenbeath dominating the stats, as Knock heads away a corner, the new signing, out to Anderson on the left, into Daly, who's unmarked. In the end, we're very lucky to get away with that. Cowdenbeath have been dominant so far. This little midfield layout they've got seems to be working for them. We're going to demand a bit more. Oh, there's a change on the shouts. The entire team or individuals. We want the entire team to do more because it's been a woeful start. All Cowdenbeath. Why are they saying no pressure? Why has the assistant decided no pressure when we've said demand more? There we go. It's out for a throw-in. Our shout's finally given. And with 25 gone, we're lucky to be level. And we've got our first chance to come forward here. Sturrock over the top to Rose. He only needs 1 chance normally. And he only needs 1 chance today. James Rose on the back of it. Our first shot of the match. And after getting pasted and being very lucky to be level after 30, we've managed to get on top. James Rose to the rescue again. It's 1-0 to Brechin. And we've got another throw on the right here with MacArthur. Into Mark Malley. Back to MacArthur again. It's a poor cross in and Antel deals with it. I think that's the only real difference between MacArthur and Berry, is Berry was a slightly better crosser of the ball. But otherwise, defensively, there's no real change. And here is MacArthur the right back to Critchley. Out to Knock, the new winger. Lovely ball through towards Malley, just intercepted by Leighton. And Glass can get it away on the left-hand side. Into Roberts in midfield. Tries to switch it, Makita nicks in. He can put Rose through and he has. Perhaps slightly overhit and James Rose on his weaker side. And he only finds the keeper's hands. And not quite enough from James Rose, but a better end to this first half. 1-0 to Brechin City. And I haven't seen any goal updates from Albion. So we're going to tell the lads they're capable of even better. We've got a couple more motivated. James Rose was by himself. And let's get into the second half. The only thing I'm not quite sure of since the full game, and I will tweak it in the settings after, is the touchline tablet's gone down to 2 panels, and I'm not sure why. We're on a widescreen big TV. As Church puts the ball in, it's headed just over. That's the least of our worries at the moment. We've got to hold on to this lead. Albion are top again. They have got the first goal at Peterhead. 53 minutes in, they've got the lead. So this is going to go to the wire. This title race is so crucial, and the Albion Rovers game is going to be massive at the end. Of course, we're back to a full season this year. Every team plays each other 4 times rather than 3. So we have got Albion once more and it should be on the road. With 18 minutes left though, I'm going to make changes. Makita again, not had the best match, so Inglis on for him. Mark Malley's been poor again, so Russell Dingwall will get another go. And then in midfield, I feel like Knox should have the rest because he's not quite match sharp and he's not at his best yet. So I'm going to bring Thomas Collins on the right wing. Gives us an extra attacking threat as well. If we can nick a second on the break, hopefully we don't have to worry about time wasting. And we're back with 12 minutes to go and a Brechin City corner kick. It's an outswinger from Daniel Church, right in towards Dingwall, who loses his header. I can see Albion have got a second at Peterhead, so we're definitely not going top today. It's just whether we keep the gap down to 1. As MacArthur throws in, headed away by Clark. Wardrobe picks it up, had a better game in the middle today. Banner over the top towards James Rose, volleys in for 2. Oh, it's disallowed for offside. Was a great finish on his weaker foot, but unfortunately it remains just 1. It's going to be a tense finish, isn't it? There's going to be some sort of grandstand moment here. As Clark throws it long downfield. Thomas Collins intercepts, finds Wardrobe to Critchley to Collins. Lovely football in the middle there. No real cutting edge just yet though. Critchley switches it right. Collins will keep it in. Tries to get the cross in. He's challenged. Still delivers though. James Rose is there. And Antel down to his right. Holds on to it as well. Really good goalkeeping from the Cowdenbeath number 1. And his clearance ain't bad either. Dangana down to Daly. It's a great challenge. Falls for Dangana again though. And he has somehow missed an absolute sitter. And we are somehow still ahead. 88 minutes on the clock. We'll see out this highlight and then we will time waste our backsides off. That unless they equalise, as Brown's got it on the left. Back to Smith, to Gray, and it's straight into the arms of Mackenzie. Fantastic work defensively from the boys, forcing them into long shots, throwing their bodies on the line, and hopefully in here with Dingwall. Great goal kick, missed defensive header. Dingwall's been dragged wide, gets the cross in still. To Inglis! What a strike that is! His first goal of the season. Unbelievable finish. Half volley right into the roof of the net. Wasn't particularly in the corner, but the keeper could do nothing. The time wasting no longer needed for stoppage time, and both of the title contenders win 2-0 away from home. 1 point in it still, the title race is well and truly on. And I've got a feeling the next episode, the final 2 games of the season, could be the biggest grandstand finish we've ever had. And there's your confirmation, a late red card for Peterhead, quashing any thoughts of a comeback. 1 point in it, 3 in the goal difference. It's so close. We've already wrapped up a playoff place. 20 points clear with 6 games to go. But this is going to be some finish to the season. I don't know how it's going to work out, but we've got 1 more game to play today yet. And that could change the outlook entirely. We've got Albion Rovers away in the middle. That could go wrong. But the next episode of Annan and Stenhousemuir could be something special. So let's go through all the pleasantries. We'll be back in a minute for the next game. It is Stranraer at home. In theory, the banker of the season. But they're starting to find form. Let's see if we can hold them off. I know we're between 2 very important matches and it's a boring piece of news. But this could be the biggest moment of the series. We complete our National B licence and we now have a full 1-star reputation. So surely, if we then apply for National League jobs with semi-pro sides that are 1-star, we get an interview. We have to. We're doing an incredible job with Brechin in difficult circumstances. And we're in that sort of position where we've got confidence. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on this job screen. But hopefully this summer we can have our moment. Well, before we head into the Stranraer game, I feel like we need to give the board a bit of praise. I'm aware most of this season I've been talking about getting out of Brechin. Now don't forget this is a journeyman save. And as we progress individually, we want to do that. But I've absolutely loved this for a first club. The board has been really supportive and they've agreed to increase the coaching. They have done everything they can with their budget to help us out. So fair play to them. I know we've had a bit of a love-hate with Pat Nevin, but bar a month or so, he's probably been the best director of football we've ever had at a first club. He's certainly done a lot of work. He's certainly given us a good squad and he's been quite sensible with his signings. But we face Stranraer today and this week is probably make or break for us this season. 10th place side at home, 9th place side away. If we don't get 2 wins here, I think we're probably out of the race, unless Albion really bottle it. And then we've got the chance to beat them. But this could be the week where it all goes wrong. So to try and make sure it doesn't, we're going to stick with exactly the same 11 that got the fantastic win away at Cowdenbeath. We're not going to make any changes to the lineup. We've still got Dingwall on the bench to come on. I would in theory put him in for Mally, but consistency is what we need now. McCormick is just coming back to fitness. He says his risk of injury is quite low now. So I don't know whether we get him on the bench somewhere. We have got a lot of midfielders on there as we've seen. And I'm not actually really sure who he would come on the bench for. Maybe McRitchie, the centre-half, who we haven't needed because the other 2 have been a brilliant partnership. We have got MacArthur who can go in, of course, if desperate. So I think that's what I'm going to do. McCormick on the bench for McRitchie. The rest of the 11 and 18 stays the same. So let's go and get into the second game of the day. It should be the home banker, but we lost away to them and we won the last home game 6-4. Hopefully, if nothing else, it'll be a thriller. Third consecutive week then with no changes to our 11. Rory Payton up front. Keep an eye on him. He has caused us chaos in every single game. I think he's got 5 goals in his last 2 games against us. But let's go and get into the first half. There's no point us holding it up. MacArthur's motivated. We want the lads to pick up where they left off. And no reaction. It makes me think, are they getting nervy? Are they getting worried? I just don't know. But let's not get too worried just yet. Let's not get any concern that we don't need to have. Let's see how this 90 minutes pans out. It doesn't look good after 15. And with 26 on the clock, the first thing we see is a Stranraer throw-in. But immediately it's cleared long downfield to James Rose. And his creative magic so many times this year puts Mark Malley in on his right foot. It was a bit of a poor angle for a right-footed player, but it's saved by Donaldson and we've got a corner kick. I'm not sure we've scored from one of these all season, as Church hits the front man again. And it's back out to Sturrock, to Church, delivers to Rose, and he heads it in. He just beats the offside trap. It looked very close. But James Rose is the unstoppable man. It almost looked like a couple of those were bowing down to him there. And I'm not surprised, he has been godlike in this game. We are top on 60 points. The Albion game is still level. And although it's close, with 5 to the break, we lead Stranraer 1-0. What a turn of events it would be if we could keep a clean sheet against them. We haven't yet conceded a shot on target. We're going to say we know you're capable of better. I'm a bit worried about Makita, to be honest, so let's tick him. I wanted to say don't get complacent, but it's not an option, and he's not reacted to what I've said at all. So let's just get into the second half. We've got our first candidate to come off again. I mean, as much as I don't want the tension at the end, this is the perfect second half so far. No highlights, no action at all. So let's go and make some changes. Makita's still complacent. Inglis did well off the bench last time. Deserves a go, doesn't he? Critchley is coming off. I'm not going to bring McCormick on just yet. We're going to bring on Gould as the central midfielder, or as the advanced playmaker, sorry. And then again, Mark Malley for Russell Dingwall. He's not been at his best. So let's go and get back into it. There is a quarter of the game to go. And as it stands, I think we're still going top. As Stranraer have got the ball in the middle of the pitch. They go long towards Payton, the man to watch of course, but Church gets there and clears it long downfield. It's mopped up by Kelly though to Leyden. Elliott gets it back into midfield. Stranraer looking very threatening, and these highlights often lead to something. Sterling's in, and it's 1-1. Why? The side at the bottom of the league are the one that we cannot beat. I just don't know what it is. We're going to try and fire them up because there's not much happening. And look what happens. Almost identical timing. His Albion Rovers have gone 1-0 up. What do we do? Focus. There's nothing happening. We're going to blow the title at home to the bottom side. It's a 1-1 draw against Stranraer. Again, they cause us trouble. We just can't cope with them. I'm going to point the finger, say it wasn't good enough. But it's going to take something to win it from here. But good news from Albion Rovers. Blair Henderson, so often the thorn in our side, is the hero today. An 89th minute equaliser keeps it 1 point in the title race. And ironically, Edinburgh City just 7 behind us. Whisper it quietly in case we both bottle it. But if we have a look at the schedule, there are crucial games coming up. We face Elgin away and Albion Rovers in the next 2. But we're going to come back for those final 2 games of the season. I'm pretty sure neither of us will have a 6-point lead at that point. So it is going to be a crucial title decider for the final 2 days of the season. How close to the wire is it going to go? And are we going to come out on top? Thoughts in the comments down below. Both sides don't want to win it. And both sides starting to look susceptible at home, which bodes well for our trip to Albion. But if you did enjoy that episode, that big double header in the title race and a very tense, nervy one that looks like going all the way, please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily episodes from 2 long-term stories. This one will be back in 2 days' time with the title race as Bangor City fills the void in between. And if you've got that notification bell on, you'll also get alerts of live streams every time we start on the channel. And of course, other content including FM21 Mobile and much, much more. You can catch up with the podcast channel in the eye above. A massive thank you for your support with that one as well. But I'll see you next time for a crucial title decider. I just don't know which side's going to bottle it worst.